What would you do if you were so in love with someone and maybe they'd done something wrong? Something unforgivable.
Scylla's an enigma, you know. Scylla's this person that you love and you're like, why do I love her?
There's an innocence and something pure in her. She sincerely believes that she is doing the right thing.
You know, we'll learn that Scylla has her reasons, and we'll learn that her parents, who were Dodgers, were on the run and they got killed. The army could have just arrested them, but they killed them to make a point, and that was all Scylla needed.
She wants to set all witches free. She wants a better world for herself and everyone, basically. She's fighting the good fight.
She was perfect for the spree because she grew up among a population that were sort of persecuted and outside of the military system.
She was alone in the world, and the spree provided a community, a sense of purpose.
She's a marbling of good and evil. She's a bit of both, but ultimately she's extremely young. So she has a lot to learn and has made some huge, scary decisions, but, you know, forgiveness. So in the pagan wheel of the year, Beltane signifies life and joy and sexuality. And it's the opposite of Samhain or Halloween, which is all about death. It's a bit of fun for these soldiers who just work constantly. They need a morale boost, and they also need the charge that sexuality gives their magic.
Can anyone tell me why Craven is excelling right now?
Because she saw the men and got all charged up.
That is correct, Swipe.
Sexuality occupies a unique place in the world of Motherland. So the reel is an American military witch tradition that you see at Beltane, and it's a sacred dance that's a lot of fun to do, but it's also a dance that pairs you with your ideal mate for the night.
Tally's always pushing the whole unity thing, and Rael, I think, sees Beltane as her first chance to prove herself that she does want to be a part of this, just show up for her unit, regardless of what that means. Just being physically present and trying to have a good time.
So the reel chose Byron for Rael, and you might wonder why, but the reel knew that they were the ideal partners for the night, just in terms of conversation and connecting, because the reel's also about bringing people together, and it's about having a bit of fun. But it brings up an interesting point, which is, where does the LGBT experience live in Motherland? The idea of gay or straight is kind of irrelevant. Your parts still work, so at some point you'll be expected to contribute. Really, the concern is making new soldiers, because these are bodies who are weapons, so the army needs more.
Porter is a tricky subject to Scylla. For the first time ever, Scylla is realizing there might be a cost to her engagement in the spree. Porter is, in a way, just a threat to everything that Scylla wants, but it is with a very torn heart that Scylla will have to make the decision to actually send Porter to his death. But then Rael comes running and tries to save him.
The way the healing in the story works, it works through this concept of linking, by which two bodies are joined. Rael links with Porter, but the problem with linking is that it creates kind of a permanent connection between you and that person, and so you begin to remember their memories. When Scylla's seeing that healing take place, she's terrified, because she knows what linking involves. And she knows that there's going to be information passed between Porter and Rael inadvertently that could reveal stuff that Scylla doesn't really want Rael to know.
So Rael's carrying all this weight from not being able to save Porter and blaming herself and holding that guilt and feeling disappointment from her mother, that she wasn't enough, she wasn't as good as her mother, and that was her only legacy. That was the only thing she wanted to push forward.
I think it was really humbling for Rael that she was not able to fully heal Porter. I think it was kind of heartbreaking for her, and I think it represented a limit that she hadn't quite felt before.
We're proud of you. Thanks.
Abigail instantly sees Rael in a new light. It's not about this sort of disgruntled person anymore. It's about a worthy unit mate, finally, for Abigail.